Okay, we're now delighted to have Byron Severson with another launch here. Byron has many of you will know Byron actually from his time at Beechcraft, Honda Jet and Dassault selling aircraft. But today, Byron, you're not trying to sell us anything.
No, that's right, Alasdair. Thanks so much for having me on. And I do have to caveat, I'm still with Dassault, but I'm talking about TallyHo today. So all these thoughts are about that. So yeah, we're coming out with a mobile platform. You can see a little bit of the background there. It's two apps, sort of Yelp-like, but basically what we do is connect aviation aircraft operators and owners. We connect them with the services that they need.
So, how did you come up with the idea for TallyHo? What problem are you solving?
So I bought my first airplane 4 years ago and achieved a dream that I'd had my whole life. And in the course of doing that, it was quite an old airplane, an old Baron. It needed a lot of maintenance. I had a lot of opportunity to go look for service providers, and what I found was it was really difficult to find different service providers. Even whether I was in my home network or on the road, I'd have a breakdown, and who do I call? So you do Google searches, or you go to message boards specific to your airplane. That worked, but it took a lot of time and effort, and it was hard to find multiple providers that I could get quotes from, etc.
And so you talk about message boards and calling friends and answers. How do you solve this problem?
Yeah, so we have a bunch of service providers that have gone into our mobile platform, and essentially we provide a very easy to use mobile app where you can go on and through typical contemporary ways of searching, either through a search bar or through a sorting effort. You can locate service providers in your area, or you can use our geolocation to populate a service feed to an area that you may be flying to this evening, for example.
Okay. What else are you offering? What other innovations are you bringing out?
Yeah, so the tool is pretty cool. The folks that I've chosen to develop the app we've also built in there a dashboard so that our service providers aren't flying blind, as it were. They can go into the Service Pro app, the other side of our platform, and they can monitor like their page views, the click-throughs, all of that, so they can get a sense of how much bang they're getting for their buck on the app, because it is a subscription for the service providers. It's free to the users. So we do that. We also, in our market research, learned that a great deal, some will say 80 to 90% of the communication between customers and the service providers is via text message. So we've built in an in-app messenger so that we can accomplish all of that in one spot. So you're not looking back through your Apple or your Android messenger trying to find that message channel that you opened up and try to figure out what you said way back when. And you can also pass appointments and pass photos of whatever issue you're having through that feature.
You've heard Rodney Johnson has gone, "This is a genius concept," which is nice for you. And Sean McGough, a former colleague of yours, has gone, "What's your long-term vision for the app and its place in the aviation services marketplace?"
My old boss. Thanks, Sean. I appreciate that. I think you've had some really smart people on here, and I really appreciate what they had to say. I think there's a lot of energy and thought and investment going into a space that's been ignored or underinvested in our industry. So where I think this can go is just reducing the complexity and the friction in some areas, specifically to what we do. We're trying to connect the parties, make that really efficient. But I see other, efforts out there to digitize maintenance logs, and you have a great number of people that are doing, excellent work with monitoring maintenance schedules and things like that. I see this industry going in the direction when it comes to data of putting those pieces together integrations or partnerships, with where you're connecting the service event with, not only finding the service providers, but then connecting the information about the aircraft, and also integrating that with maintenance due, cycle due dates, maintenance due dates, putting all that ecosystem together.
Okay, and I guess the final question for those who are more into fox hunting than flying light aircraft, where does the name come from?
Yeah, thanks for asking that. Obviously what you just said is true, and in U.S. aviation colloquial terms, I think it goes back to World War II. But when an air traffic controller calls to a pilot in the cockpit and says, "You've got traffic 12 o'clock approaching," your call back, if you see the traffic, is to say, "TallyHo, I see the traffic." It's sort of colloquial, not used that much anymore, but everybody knows what it means.
No, it's a great one. Question from Will Jones, which I think is really good for you as also as a pilot and someone who's been selling aircraft for a long time. With access to new metrics, different data points, and possible savings, will they be passed on to the client, owner, or operator's pockets?
I think the first thing we can pass along is something that's not being done a lot, and that's what we wanted to do with this platform. Is we're measuring a lot of stuff with our back end, and what we want to deliver back to the industry to start with is metrics. We want to talk about what services are being utilized, what services are perhaps in excess of what the industry can deliver, for example. In other words, like when we saw ADS-B and how that sort of overwhelmed the avionics marketplace, we want to be able to deliver metrics that help the industry as a byproduct of this application or this platform. So I think the first thing we can deliver back is data. I think we'll look for opportunities to deliver back savings as we go along.
That's brilliant. Thanks so much, Byron. Great seeing you. And that's Byron Severson, founder of TallyHo and also Dassault Sales. If you're in the Texas region and you want to buy the aircraft, please also call him.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, Byron. Great to meet you.